Summer is officially here, and if you live in the US, you know exactly what that means. The worst mosquito season of the year has begun. You just want to relax on your porch, but you're sick and tired of dousing yourself in toxic-smelling DEET bug sprays just to survive the evening. But what if I told you that a few simple potted plants, the kind you can easily grow right in your own backyard, can repel mosquitoes just as well as commercial chemical sprays? In today's video, we are going to count down 15 plants you can grow in pots to repel mosquitoes. These gorgeous plants and flowers don't just add a great summer vibe to your porch, they also act as natural chemical factories, forcing those blood-sucking pests to immediately turn tail and run. Make sure to stick around for the very last plant. It will definitely surprise you. Let's get started. Kicking off our countdown at number 15 is a classic summer favorite that pulls double duty, sweet basil. While you might know it best from the kitchen, basil is actually an exceptional plant when it comes to creating a mosquito-free patio. To get this plant thriving in a container garden, you will want to select a medium-sized plastic pot, somewhere around the 3 to 5 gallon mark. Plastic is fantastic for basil because it naturally retains moisture, keeping the root zone consistently hydrated during those blistering summer afternoons. Fill your container with a premium organic potting mix that is rich in compost to provide a generous dose of nitrogen for leafy growth. The planting process is incredibly straightforward. While you can start them from seed, the easiest method is to grab a live starter plant from your local nursery, or even root a fresh cutting from the grocery store in a glass of water. Once rooted, bury the stem deep into your moist soil. Basil is a total sun worshiper, so place the pot in an area that receives 6 to 8 hours of direct, unobstructed sunlight every single day. The secret to a bushy plant is consistently pinching off the top growing tips to prevent it from flowering. Now, let us talk about why it is on this list. Basil is one of the very few plants that naturally releases its mosquito-repelling essential oils into the air without you needing to crush or touch the leaf. The scientific evidence backing this up is highly robust. A comprehensive study published in the Malaria Journal proved that the essential oils extracted from sweet basil contain significant concentrations of eugenol and linalool. These specific compounds are highly toxic to mosquitoes and actively disrupt their ability to track the carbon dioxide we exhale. As a fascinating biological fact, basil produces these pungent oils specifically to defend its soft, vulnerable leaves from grazing insects. But luckily for us, that exact same defense mechanism creates an aromatic shield around your patio seating area. Coming in at number 14 is the highly vigorous and incredibly aromatic peppermint plant. This rapidly spreading herb is a fantastic addition to your mosquito-repelling arsenal, but it requires strict container management. You must plant peppermint in its own dedicated, isolated plastic pot. If you place it in a shared container or a garden bed, its expansive runner roots will physically strangle and choke out every other plant nearby. A standard 3-gallon plastic pot works perfectly to contain the spread. Fill it with a highly aerated potting soil that holds moisture remarkably well, as this plant thrives on regular hydration. Propagating peppermint is delightfully foolproof. Simply take a healthy cutting, strip the bottom leaves, and place it in a glass of water until thick white roots emerge from the stem. Plant the rooted clone into your damp soil mix. Peppermint prefers partial shade, especially during the harsh afternoon heat, and demands frequent, thorough watering to keep the foliage lush and vibrant. To maximize its mosquito-repelling power, you want to regularly brush your hands through the leaves whenever you walk by the pot, as this physically ruptures the plant's microscopic oil glands. The scientific evidence supporting peppermint as a bug repellent is truly impressive. Research published in the Asian Pacific Journal of Tropical Biomedicine confirms that the potent menthol compounds released by this plant act as a severe neurotoxin to insects. The highly concentrated mint vapor physically overloads the sensory receptors of mosquitoes, rendering them unable to detect the heat and sweat of human skin. Here is a fascinating botanical fact about this plant. The peppermint plant actually utilizes a highly sophisticated biological propagation system called stolons, which are horizontal, underground stem. These runners tunnel under the dirt to shoot up brand new clone plants every few inches, ensuring the plant's survival by rapidly colonizing the entire container in a matter of weeks. At number 13, we are adding a vibrant splash of color to your bug-free patio with the iconic American garden classic, the Marigold. These brilliant, fiery orange and yellow flowers are not just for show. They act as natural chemical factories designed to keep blood-sucking insects as far away as possible. For your container setup, marigolds look absolutely stunning in long, rectangular plastic window boxes or shallow terracotta pans. Because they prefer slightly drier conditions, fill your chosen container with a fast-draining potting soil cut with a handful of coarse sand to ensure water never pools around the root zone. Growing marigolds from seed is one of the easiest projects in the gardening world. Simply scatter the elongated seeds directly onto the surface of your damp potting mix and cover them with a 1/4-inch dusting of dirt. Within 5 to 7 days, they will rapidly sprout from the soil. Marigolds are relentless sun seekers and incredibly drought tolerant, meaning they thrive in the hottest corners of your backyard patio. To keep them blooming and pushing out that mosquito-repelling scent, practice deadheading by routinely snapping off the old, dying flowers. Now, let us dive into the mosquito-repelling science. The United States Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, officially recognizes that marigolds naturally synthesize and excrete a powerful chemical compound called pyrethrum. This is the exact same organic insecticidal compound utilized in almost every commercial bug spray on the market. The intensely pungent aroma radiating from the flowers creates a localized zone that mosquitoes strongly avoid. For a fascinating scientific fact, the defensive power of the marigold is not just in its flowers. The roots actively secrete a potent chemical called alpha-terthional deep into the soil. This compound physically paralyzes and destroys microscopic, root-eating nematodes, acting as an underground bodyguard for your patio. Sliding into number 12 is a wonderfully lush, incredibly fragrant member of the mint family, lemon balm. As the name suggests, this sprawling plant radiates an intense citrus aroma that human beings find relaxing, but mosquitoes find completely unbearable. Because this plant grows into a very dense bush, you need to provide it with a large 5-gallon plastic container or a wide fabric grow bag to give the roots plenty of room to expand. Fill the container with a premium organic potting mix, heavily amended with dark compost to support its rapid foliage growth. You can easily start lemon balm from nursery transplants, or by taking stem cuttings and rooting them in water. Once planted, place the container in an area that receives partial sunlight, like the dappled shade underneath your patio umbrella or pergola. It perfectly adapts to slightly cooler, protected environment. Keep the soil consistently moist and frequently prune the branches to maintain a compact, attractive shape. To utilize its power, simply grab a handful of the green leaves, firmly crush them between your palms, and rub the fragrant oils directly onto your exposed arms and ankles. The scientific data backing this plant is remarkably strong. Research cataloged by the National Institutes of Health, NIH, confirms that lemon balm leaves are densely packed with a highly volatile organic compound called citronellol. This chemical physically disrupts the neurological tracking systems of blood-feeding insects, making it incredibly difficult for them to lock onto your scent. Here is a fascinating historical and botanical fact. During the Middle Ages, people intentionally planted thick borders of lemon balm around their windows, specifically to ward off biting flies and mosquitoes. However, beekeepers also revered the plant because its tiny white flowers act as a magnetic beacon for friendly pollinating honeybees. Number 11 brings us the rugged, low-growing, and highly resilient herb known as thyme. This creeping plant is a true survivor that thrives on neglect while silently pumping out a heavy, earthy mosquito-repelling aura around your seating area. Because thyme strongly dislikes having wet feet, standard plastic pots are a terrible choice. You must plant thyme in a highly breathable 3-gallon fabric grow bag or a porous, unglazed terracotta pot to allow maximum water evaporation. The soil requirement is strictly specific. You must blend a standard potting mix with at least 30% coarse gravel or builder's sand to accurately mimic the rocky, well-draining soils of the Mediterranean coast. Thyme has very fragile, hair-like root systems, so the best way to start is by gently transplanting a nursery starter plant directly into your sandy mix. Place the container in the most sun-scorched, unforgiving location your patio has to offer. The golden rule for thyme care is to practically ignore it. Only water the container when the soil is completely bone dry and crumbling to the touch. The mosquito-repelling applications of this plant are legendary. While the live plant offers great protection, you can actually toss a few dry branches of thyme directly onto your backyard barbecue grill or fire pit. The resulting aromatic smoke will effectively clear the immediate yard of mosquitoes. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Mosquito Control Association scientifically proved that the burning of thyme leaves provides a staggering 85% protection rate against mosquito landings in an open, outdoor environment. For your fascinating botanical fact, thyme leaves have an incredibly tiny surface area. This microscopic leaf structure is a brilliant evolutionary adaptation designed to restrict water evaporation in desert climates. As a direct result, the mosquito-repelling essential oils are densely packed into a highly concentrated space. Have you ever tried burning herbs like thyme in your backyard fire pit to keep the bugs away? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you are enjoying these science-backed gardening hacks so far, please take a second to hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. Now, let's dive right into our top 10. At number 10 is the tough, woody, and intensely fragrant evergreen shrub, rosemary. This architectural plant features needle-like leaves that radiate a sharp pine and citrus aroma, acting as a substantial biological deterrent against swarms of backyard mosquitoes. Because rosemary eventually grows into a heavy-wooded bush with a deep root system, you should deploy a large 10-gallon fabric grow bag or a heavy-duty terracotta pot. Just like thyme, rosemary will quickly succumb to root rot if left in heavy, waterlogged dirt. Fill your container with a highly aerated, fast-draining cactus and citrus potting mix, amended with jagged pumice and coarse sand. Growing rosemary from seed is notoriously frustrating and incredibly slow. So do yourself a favor and buy an established starter plant from a local nursery to drop directly into your prepared container. Rosemary is the ultimate drought-tolerant survivor. Place the heavy pot in full, unobstructed sunlight and practice strict water discipline, allowing the soil to dry out completely between thorough soakings. To utilize its repelling power, you can run your hands over the stiff needles to release the oils, or toss a few woody branches directly into your patio fire pit to generate a thick, mosquito-clearing smokescreen. The scientific evidence supporting rosemary is heavily documented. Entomologists at Iowa State University have extensively researched the chemical makeup of rosemary essential oil, confirming that its highly volatile organic compounds physically bind to the olfactory receptors of mosquitoes, effectively blinding their ability to detect the carbon dioxide plumes exhaled by human beings. Here is a fascinating botanical fact about this rugged plant. Rosemary does not rely entirely on its roots for hydration. It actually absorbs a significant portion of its required moisture directly from the ambient air and morning coastal fogs, utilizing specialized microscopic valves located on its needle-like leaves. Coming in at number 9 is the worldwide symbol of calming relaxation: lavender. While the soothing floral scent of this gorgeous purple plant reduces human stress, it ironically creates an overwhelming sensory environment for mosquitoes trying to invade your patio. For your container setup, lavender absolutely requires highly breathable conditions. A 5-gallon fabric grow bag or a porous terracotta pot is mandatory to ensure the root zone never stays wet. You must fill the container with a lean, nutrient-poor, fast-draining soil mix, heavily cut with small gravel, perlite, and coarse sand. If the soil is too rich or too wet, the plant will quickly collapse from fungal disease. You will want to plant a healthy nursery transplant rather than starting from seed. When planting, be careful not to bury the woody crown too deeply, and highly consider adding a top layer of white gravel around the base to reflect sunlight upward and keep the lower stems dry. Place your container in the hottest, sunniest spot available and water it very sparingly. The intense heat actually forces the plant to concentrate its mosquito-repelling oil. The scientific community has thoroughly vetted the power of this plant. Extensive research published in the Journal of Medical Entomology conclusively proved that linalool, the primary chemical compound found in lavender oil, is a highly effective, naturally occurring insect repellent. The linalool intensely overloads the fragile neurological olfactory systems of mosquitoes, prompting them to flee the immediate area to escape the sensory assault. For a fascinating botanical fact, the lavender plant does not just produce its famous essential oils to repel insects or attract pollinators. Those highly volatile oils actually evaporate and form a microscopic protective vapor cloud that wraps around the entire plant to shield its delicate leaves from the blistering heat. Number 8 brings us the ultimate feline entertainment, which just so happens to be one of the most effective biological mosquito repellents on planet Earth: catnip. While your cats might lose their minds rolling in this plant, mosquitoes treat it like toxic waste. Because catnip is a robust, spreading member of the mint family, you should contain it in a large, heavy-duty 5-gallon plastic pot to prevent its root system from taking over your patio garden. Fill the container with a standard, rich organic potting soil, as this plant is highly adaptable and not overly picky about its dirt. You can easily grow catnip by broadcasting seeds directly onto the damp soil surface, where they will quickly sprout in just a matter of days. If you actually own a cat, you might want to place a wire cage over the pot initially, so they do not crush the tiny seedlings. Keep the soil evenly moist and consistently pinch off the top growing tips to force the plant to bush outward into a dense, mosquito-fighting display. Before heading out to your patio for a BBQ, simply crush a handful of the leaves in your palms and rub the natural oils directly onto your clothing to create a temporary bug shield. The scientific evidence regarding catnip is absolutely staggering. A landmark study conducted by entomologists at Iowa State University scientifically proved that nepentolactone, the active chemical compound synthesized inside catnip leaves, is literally 10 times more effective at repelling mosquitoes than DEET, the synthetic chemical used in heavy-duty commercial bug sprays. Here is a fascinating evolutionary fact. The catnip plant originally evolved and weaponized the nepentolactone compound strictly to defend itself against sap-sucking aphids. The fact that this chemical strongly repels mosquitoes while acting as a euphoric hallucinogen for the feline species is an incredible biological coincidence. Sliding into number 7 is the beautifully textured, silvery green powerhouse, sage. This rugged, earthy herb emits a highly pungent, almost woody aroma that naturally cleanses the air and creates a biological deterrent against flying patio pests. Because sage is susceptible to fatal root rot, standard plastic pots are not recommended. You need a breathable 5-gallon fabric grow bag or an unglazed terracotta pot to ensure maximum airflow around the root zone. You must fill the container with a very light, highly aerated soil mix composed of at least 30% coarse builder's sand or heavy perlite. This ensures that water physically drains out seconds after you apply it. Growing sage from seed is notoriously slow, so planting a live nursery cutting is the smartest move. Once planted, place the container in an area receiving full, intense sunlight. You must practice strict water discipline, allowing the potting soil to become completely dry to the touch before offering it another drink. The most effective way to utilize sage as a mosquito repellent is to harvest a few woody branches, let them dry, and toss them directly onto the glowing coals of your patio fire pit. The thick, fragrant smoke will readily clear the yard of bugs. In terms of scientific backing, reports in the Journal of Infectious Diseases note that the dense smoke generated from burning sage leaves physically alters the local air composition. The heavy, volatile oils carried in the smoke physically coat the microscopic breathing spiracles of mosquitoes, effectively suffocating them and forcing an immediate retreat. For a fascinating botanical fact, the beautiful silvery gray appearance of sage leaves is actually an optical illusion. The leaves are completely covered in thousands of microscopic, white hair-like structures called trichomes. These hairs act as natural sunblock, reflecting intense solar radiation to prevent the plant from overheating. Coming in at number 6 is the fierce, ground-covering, and highly aromatic herb, oregano. While it is the soul of Italian cooking, its powerfully pungent essential oils act as an invisible deterrent against swarms of backyard mosquitoes. Because oregano loves to spread outward and crawl along the ground, a wide, shallow terracotta pan or a broad fabric grow bag is the ideal container setup. This allows the sprawling stems to root themselves wherever they touch the dirt. Fill your container with a well-draining, sandy potting mix that closely mimics the rocky, arid hillsides of the Mediterranean. You can easily start oregano by taking a live cutting and pressing the bare stem firmly into the damp soil, where it will rapidly deploy an extensive root network. Place your container in the sunniest, hottest corner of your patio. Oregano is a legendary drought survivor, so only water it when the soil is completely dry. The hotter the weather and the drier the soil, the more concentrated its mosquito-repelling essential oils will become. To use it, simply crush the fresh leaves in your hands and rub the oil around your patio furniture to diffuse the scent. The scientific evidence regarding oregano is highly concerning for insects. Data published in the National Library of Medicine, PubMed, reveals that oregano essential oil contains substantial levels of two chemicals, carvacrol and thymol. These specific compounds act as a severe neurotoxin to insects, physically degrading the cellular membranes of mosquitoes and ticks upon contact. Here is a fascinating historical and botanical fact. The word oregano is derived from ancient Greek, literally translating to "joy of the mountain." The essential oil produced by this rugged plant is so biologically potent that organic farmers actually dilute it into a spray to effectively eliminate invasive fungus on other crops. Who knew the secret to a bug-free patio might already be sitting in your kitchen spice rack? If you were learning something new today, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our outdoor living hacks. We are officially entering our top 5, and these next few plants are absolute game changers. Let's check out number 5. At number 5, we have the pungent, powerful, and wildly defensive garlic plant. While the bulb grows hidden safely underground, the entire plant emits an invisible radar of sulfuric compounds that powerfully repels mosquitoes and helps clear the airspace around your patio. Because garlic develops a relatively shallow but wide-spreading root network, you need a rectangular plastic planter box or a large terracotta window box. You must fill the planter with a light, porous, sandy potting mix that drains water instantly. If the soil is heavy, clay-like, or overly wet, the buried garlic cloves will quickly suffocate and rot into mush before they ever get a chance to grow. The planting process is a lesson in geometric multiplication. Carefully separate a head of garlic into individual cloves, leaving the thin, papery white skin perfectly intact to act as a shield against soil-borne diseases. Push each clove exactly 2 inches deep into the soft dirt, ensuring the pointy end is facing straight up, spacing them about 4 inches apart. Garlic thrives on a hands-off approach. Place the container outside in the elements. To trigger bulb growth, the planted cloves must experience the freezing temperatures of a cold winter season, a biological process called vernalization. Stop watering entirely when the green leaves begin to yellow and die back. The scientific evidence supporting garlic as a bug repellent is well documented. Reports in Scientific Reports show that the highly volatile sulfuric compound allicin, which is actively transpired through the plant's green shoots, physically binds to and severely damages the olfactory receptors of mosquitoes, blinding their ability to locate human blood. A fascinating fact is that the famously intense heat of garlic does not exist inside a whole, untouched clove. The potent allicin is only instantly created when the cellular walls are physically crushed or cut. Number 4 brings us the towering, feathery, and beautifully architectural fennel plant. With its delicate, fern-like foliage and strong black licorice aroma, this large herb works overtime to naturally repel biting mosquitoes, while simultaneously acting as a magnetic beacon for pollinating butterflies. Because fennel develops a substantial, deep-penetrating taproot, standard shallow pots are ineffective. You must deploy an extremely deep 15 to 20-gallon fabric grow bag to accommodate its downward growth. Fill this deep container with a rich, highly aerated, loamy potting soil that allows water to drain deeply and completely. The planting process requires a permanent decision. The taproot of the fennel plant strongly resists being disturbed, transplanted, or moved. Therefore, you must sow the seeds directly into the exact fabric grow bag where the plant will permanently live. Fennel is a relentless sun worshiper, so place the heavy container in full, unobstructed sunlight. Because the stalks can rocket upwards of 5 feet tall, you should drive a bamboo stake deep into the soil to prevent the plant from snapping during heavy patio windstorm. Water the container deeply but infrequently to encourage the taproot to dig lower. The scientific evidence regarding fennel is highly respected in agricultural circles. Entomological journals from the USDA explicitly note that the concentrated essential oils extracted from fennel leaves are biologically toxic to insects. When mosquitoes inhale the vapor, the compounds physically coat and paralyze their microscopic respiratory spiracles, effectively suffocating them. Here is a fascinating botanical fact. Fennel is a highly solitary plant. The roots actively secrete a potent, invisible chemical into the soil known as an allelopathic inhibitor. This chemical biologically stunts and prevents almost any other plant from growing nearby. Coming in at number 3 is an incredible source of essential oils. Lemon verbena. This woody, sprawling shrub possesses long, elegant leaves that contain arguably the sharpest and most highly concentrated lemon citrus aroma in the botanical kingdom, making it an excellent deterrent for patio mosquitoes. Because this plant develops an expansive, fast-growing root system, you must select a large, heavy-duty 10 to 15-gallon plastic pot. Plastic is crucial here to prevent rapid moisture loss, as this plant requires consistent hydration. Fill the large container with a premium, nutrient-dense, organic potting soil, heavily amended with rich compost and coconut coir to lock in moisture. Growing lemon verbena from seed is notoriously difficult, so you should start with a healthy nursery transplant. When you place it into the container, be sure to pack the soil down firmly around the base, as the tall, woody branches act like sails in the wind and can easily uproot a loosely planted shrub. Place the container in full sunlight and water it regularly, never allowing the soil to completely dry out. To utilize its mosquito-repelling power, simply strip a few leaves from the stem, crush them in your palms, and rub the oils onto your wrists and neck for natural protection. The scientific evidence behind this plant is impressive. The journal Phytotherapy Research published data confirming that lemon verbena essential oil contains a significant 35% concentration of pure citral. Citral is universally recognized by medical science as a highly effective, biologically active insect repellent that overwhelms a mosquito's navigation system while remaining entirely non-toxic to humans. Here is a fascinating fact. The essential oils in lemon verbena are so highly concentrated that simply brushing your bare arm against the leaves as you walk by will embed the sharp citrus scent into your skin for hours. Number 2 is the ultimate biological upgrade to a classic herb, lemon thyme. This brilliant genetic hybrid combines the rugged, low-growing resilience of traditional thyme with an intense burst of sharp citrus essential oils that actively clears the airspace of blood-sucking mosquitoes. For your container setup, you want a wide, shallow terracotta pan or a broad fabric grow bag. This specific shape allows the sprawling stems to crawl laterally across the dirt. You must fill the container with a lean, fast-draining soil mix heavily cut with coarse sand and perlite. Lemon thyme shares the exact same strong aversion to wet feet as its traditional cousin, and heavy soil will kill it rapidly. The easiest way to plant lemon thyme is to divide an established nursery plant and place the small cluster directly in the center of your wide pot. Within a few months, the spreading roots will completely carpet the surface. Place the container in the most sun-scorched, punishing location your patio can offer. You must never water this plant from above. Always apply water directly to the soil only when it is completely bone dry, as wet leaves will instantly trigger a fatal fungal rot. To use it, snap off a few creeping branches, gently crush them with a rock, and leave them on your patio table. Providing incredible scientific evidence, a comprehensive biochemical report from the University of Guelph proved that the unique combination of thymol and citral in this specific plant acts as a localized deterrent. The vapor instantly triggers an olfactory shock in the nervous system of mosquitoes, prompting them to reverse direction and flee. Here is a fascinating botanical fact. Despite radiating an unmistakable lemon aroma, lemon thyme has zero genetic relationship to an actual lemon tree. The identical scent is a pure evolutionary coincidence. Taking the crown at number 1 is the undisputed king of mosquito-repelling plants, lemongrass. Having a large, fountain-like bush of this architectural grass on your patio is like installing a natural 24/7 factory that continuously pumps out a heavy cloud of bug-deterring vapor. Because lemongrass develops a highly expansive, rapidly multiplying, and incredibly deep root system, you should deploy a large 20-gallon fabric grow bag. Standard plastic pots can eventually crack under the pressure of the expanding roots. You must fill this large bag with a rich, aerated potting mix amended with worm castings, as this grass is a heavy feeder. The planting process is a brilliant zero-waste hack. You do not need seeds. Simply buy a bundle of fresh lemongrass stalks from the grocery store. Peel back the dead outer layers and submerge the bulbous bases in a glass of shallow water. Within 2 weeks, an explosion of thick white roots will deploy, and you can bury them deep into your fabric grow bag. Place the container in full scorching sunlight and water it generously every single day. The hotter the temperature and the more water it drinks, the faster it will explode into a towering 5-foot-tall green fountain. The scientific consensus on lemongrass is definitive. Official publications from both the World Health Organization and the EPA classify citronella oil, which is extracted directly from lemongrass, as a premier biological mosquito repellent. The vapor physically binds to the mosquito's antennae, erasing their ability to smell human lactic acid. Finally, here is a vital, fascinating fact. The elegant, arching green blades of lemongrass are laced with microscopic, razor-sharp silica crystals. If a mosquito attempts to land on the grass, these microscopic glass-like structures will physically deter them. Always wear thick leather gloves when handling the mature leaves to avoid severe paper cut. And there you have it, our list of 15 plants you can grow in pots to repel mosquitoes. Whether you choose the tall biological shield of lemongrass, the amazing cat-friendly power of catnip, or the soothing scent of lavender, incorporating these natural plant protectors will help you reclaim your summer evenings without relying on toxic chemicals. If you found this video helpful in your backyard bug battle, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more smart gardening tips and helpful outdoor living hacks. We would love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments below. Which of these 15 plants will you be growing first in your garden? Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic, mosquito-free summer, and we'll see you in the next video.